Hello and welcome to our first FireAvert webinar. My name is Peter Thorpe. I'm the owner and CEO of FireAvert. We're glad that everyone joined us here today. We started doing these webinars because we started getting a lot of questions on how FireAvert works, how do I install, how do I maintain it. So we started the webinar series really for our maintenance staff out there. Currently, FireAvert is in over 1 million multifamily homes across North America, growing about 10,000 new units each month. So we are the leader in kitchen fire prevention, and we are here to help you guys. A little bit about myself and my background. I started off my career 20 years ago as a career firefighter. Absolutely loved the job there. I was on a ladder company, engine company, as a paramedic on an ambulance for many years there. But early on in my career, I started realizing that the number one fire call that we'd go on was cooking. People started to cook, they would get distracted and they walked away from it, and they would, a neighbor or the homeowner, someone would call 911 reporting smoke or fire in the kitchen. We'd show up there and we got really good at it. It was exciting. We get dispatched almost every shift at the firehouse. At the firehouse, our shifts were a 48-hour shift there. So within that 48 hours, sometimes I even had up to 3 different kitchen fires within that 48 hours. But we'd pop the door there, there'd be smoke banked down, we'd crawl under, and again, it was just food left on the stove there. And the truth is, a lot of times there was flames, but more than not, it was just really, really bad smoke. Smoke would be all the way banked down the home there. On one specific call we got there, and the smoke alarms were sounding, the smoke was banked down, no flames, but the homeowner had passed out from all the smoke inhalation. Didn't see her. I don't know how we didn't step on her, but she was barely breathing there. But all these different calls we went on, it kind of gave me the idea to create FireAvert. So FireAvert is the only product out there that prevents these kitchen fires from ever starting. Before I tell you how the product works there, I want to kind of educate you guys on the fire triangle. So in the fire service, I'm sure you heard about the fire triangle. You have to have 3 things to have a fire. You have to have oxygen, a heat source, and fuel. So the oxygen, plenty of oxygen everywhere, we have that. The fuel source, right here, our heat source. We have a heat source right here. We have an electric stove, we have a gas stove. This is our heat source. And the fuel source is just wherever you're cooking there. Maybe I've seen beans, I've seen people cook hard-boiled eggs there, and sometimes they just start boiling water and they walk away and they forget about it. The Teflon on these pans is horrible. It'll burn and burn. Eventually it does catch fire. I've seen grease fires. People start to put grease in there, and grease, as you know, it'll smoke for a very long time. Have you ever been deep frying something and you get that, that smoke in the air, your smoke alarm sounds, but it starts burning your eyes there. So all these, that's our fuel source there. So you have to have, for a fire to sustain itself, you have to have oxygen, a heat source, and fuel. And so when I was on one of these calls as a firefighter there, we got dispatched an apartment complex fire. We popped the door open, we crawl under there. It was just food left on the stove, smoke alarms blaring. We clean up, I'm driving the fire engine back to the firehouse, and the idea came to me is how amazing would it be, how effective would it be if we could eliminate the heat source? What if we could take that fire triangle and just remove the heat source there? And that's what we've done here. So FireAvert automatically turns the stove off, removes that heat source altogether, it breaks that triangle so you cannot have a fire. And so let me just show you how this works here. First of all, I think most of you know, but FireAvert, it works on electric stoves and gas stoves. They're both effective there. On the electric stoves there, it's an electric FireAvert. It's all plug and play technology. You just pull your stove out, you're going to plug your stove into FireAvert in the wall, and you're ready to go. On the gas stoves, same technology, but it's a red box here. You plug your gas stove in the red box, this in the wall. Then you have a gas solenoid, okay? So you're going to have a flex line there and the solenoid here. And so instead of shutting off electric to the electric stove, we're going to shut gas off to the gas stove. So this is a shut off, a gas solenoid that shuts gas off. We're the only company out there that's automatically shutting off gas or electricity to an appliance to prevent the fire from ever starting. And so how it works there is when someone starts to cook, they forget about it on their electric stove or their gas stove, they walk away. Smoke alarms, we all have smoke alarms. They're our first line of defense. And now with 10-year lithium batteries, smoke alarms are lasting even longer there. But as soon as, I have a smoke alarm here, as soon as their smoke alarm starts to sound, it starts beeping a little bit, the FireAvert devices here, it hears that unique sound and automatically turns off the stove, removing that heat source. And some of the common questions we get is, well, what if I have low battery chirps? What if it goes off from steam from my shower? So the answer to that is, if you have a low battery chirp, FireAvert does not do anything, does not react to that. It has to hear an active smoke alarm for about 30 seconds. The other tip there too, is FireAvert only cuts power if the stove is on. And what I mean by that, if your smoke alarm sounds from steam from a shower or from dust or cobwebs or something else, if the stove is not being used, it doesn't do anything. And we have a 30-second intelligent delay built in just for this reason. So if somebody is cooking, if they're cooking here, the smoke alarm sounds, if all they do is just turn the stove off, the off position, it doesn't do anything. Or if they fan the smoke and have the smoke alarm stop sounding, it doesn't do anything. I want to share the difference here just so you guys become experts with the FireAvert technology. On the gas stove, we can't tell the difference if someone's cooking or not cooking. So if the smoke alarm does sound for any reason, whether the stove is in the on position or off position, it's going to cut power. So that's one difference that you need to know between the electric FireAverts and our gas FireAverts. So like I mentioned, installation is really easy. I should also mention is that all of our products are UL certified and not just tested, they're also UL certified. That is super important. I can't stress to you enough that as you start to look at different products and you know, not just for kitchen fire prevention, but any products you're using in your apartments there, they all need to have a UL or an ETL or SGS certification on the product there. And so all of our products, I don't know if you can see that there, it does have the SGS and some of them have the ETL mark on there saying that we just didn't test it in our own demo room or our own laboratory, but we've handed these off to a third-party laboratory, accredited national certification lab, and they have tested and certified our products. So let's do a quick demo here. So I'm going to turn the electric stove on, turn these on high here, turn the gas stove on. I'm going to turn on 2 burners here in the gas stove so you can hopefully see the flames there. So I'm going to send the smoke alarm here, and you're going to see that it takes about 30 seconds for the gas stove and the electric stove to cut power because we have that intelligent delay built in there. So I'm going to sound the smoke alarm. And one question we get asked a lot is, how far away can FireAvert hear the smoke alarm? The truth is up to 60 plus feet away. In apartments, we've never had a scenario where FireAvert cannot hear the smoke alarm. So I'm standing here pretty close today, but just know that it can hear it up to about 60 feet away. So let me sound this here. Hopefully on the camera you can see the gas flame there and the electric flame. Maybe I'll stand back here so you can see them both. And there you go. Both of these appliances have cut power now. We have, on that fire triangle, we just eliminated the heat source. No heat source, no fire. What's also very, very important to know is that everything has different temperatures where we have like an ignition temperature and then a flash point temperature and a temperature for sustained cooking there. Everything starts to smoke around 300 degrees. It's not going to ignite until close to about 700, even 800 degrees is when it ignites. So because everything smokes around 300, maybe 400 degrees, by removing the heat source, it hasn't reached its ignition temperature. We remove that heat source and we don't have a fire. Okay? The great thing about the stoves here, one of the common questions is, how do I turn it back on? And I'm going to show you here. So the electric stove, we always turn the burners to the off position before resetting. For the gas stove, let me show you how simple this is, okay? You can purchase this little button right here and just push the button on top of this and it's going to play a unique sound, and that sound turns the stove back on. So let me show you this for the gas stove here. Oh. 'Cause, 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 So there you go, the gas stove just came back on here, and we can start cooking again. So if your residents, you're worried about them trying to reset it, nothing is easier than just pushing this button here and the gas stove is ready to be used again. On the electric stove, you notice I don't have a button up here. So once the FireAvert is a very intelligent and smart device. So once the smoke alarm has stopped sounding and the homeowner there has turned the burners to the off position, the FireAvert says, okay, I no longer hear a smoke alarm. The burners are in the off position. We can detect when something's on or off. It auto reboots. And so you no longer need to reset a breaker, you no longer have to pull the stove out, you never did, but you don't have to pull the stove out and push anything. The auto reboot on our new FireAverts is a game changer. This should eliminate all your maintenance calls, after hour calls. If they do call, just tell the resident, turn the stove to the off position, make sure your smoke alarm stops sounding, and it auto reboots within a couple minutes there, if not faster. So very, very easy to do there. Installation, I do want to share, so in about 75% of the time on the electric stoves when you install it, it's in a fit, down by the drawer down here, there's a void space. The FireAvert fits perfectly in that void space. The stove still fits flush against the back of the stove. You can see I can barely fit my fingers there. It does not push the stove out. In about 25% of the cases, the outlet is high on the wall and it's going to push the stove out a little bit. If that is a concern, if that bothers you, we do sell these U-belt listed pigtails, we call them, a small extension cord. You first plug the pigtail in the wall, and then you plug your FireAvert in right here to the pigtail, like this, and then your stove, and now you can manipulate that and put it down in the void space where the drawers, and now the stove was flush against the wall. All right? With the gas stoves, because this is so thin and it's just a gas solenoid, it doesn't push your stove out. So installation is super easy. One thing I do want to mention is these gas solenoids right here, just like water heaters, just like, if you don't know this, the flex lines, the yellow flex line at the back of your stove, they do not last forever. There's actually an expiration date on them. Just like smoke alarms have an expiration date, water heaters don't last forever. The solenoids that we sell do not last forever. We have a 3-year warranty on them. If they do malfunction, have a leak of any sort, within 3 years we warranty them. As a manufacturer, we recommend that they replace at around 5 years. So at 5 years, not around, at 5 years, we recommend that you replace them. Some of our customers, they replace them sooner as they start to have a few failures. Some customers wait 7 years and they have no problem with them. So we recommend a 5-year changing them out, just like other appliances or tools in your apartments there. I hope this webinar has been beneficial for you. We will start putting these out regularly for you guys so our maintenance teams can become experts with FireAvert. We do have an amazing customer service team here. Most times we respond even 24/7 with people that are calling our 800 number. We have great resources for your team there with FireAvert. I do want to share just how successful FireAvert has been. With over 1 million units installed in multifamily, we have hundreds of testimonials of our customers. A lot of our customers are receiving discounts or reductions on their insurance premiums. I can think of a handful of customers. I'll share just a couple with you real quick, or just one. One of our customers, they have around 10,000 units in their portfolio. Years ago, they were doing a pilot, they put in about 5,000 FireAverts within their portfolio there, and then they just kind of sat on it for about 5 years. We checked in with them, and we had them pull their insurance claims over the last 5 years, and what they didn't realize is that they had 0 kitchen fires in their units and their properties that had FireAvert. All the properties that did not have FireAvert, they did have several fires in properties that didn't have FireAvert. So they were convinced. They immediately this year put an order in for the rest of the portfolio to be protected by FireAvert because they saw how effective it was. Other customers have put this in and they see a huge reduction in their kitchen fire prevention there. I think of another customer that they became a customer because 3 years back to back, they had large fires that took out whole stacks of building there. and their rates were going up. So they put FireAvert in. They've been a customer now for 3 years, and I'm glad to say they have not had a single fire in the last 3 years while using FireAvert. Major fire there. So we want to be your partner in this. If you have questions, reach out to us. If you need replacements, if you need more education on the product, please know that sometimes FireAverts go missing on turnovers. Do your audits. If you find that you need a handful of them, we have volume pricing for you guys. You get the very, very best pricing for FireAvert, and let us know how else we can help you. Thank you.